It's kind of funny to me. Like, I think Xbox is both hilariously good and hilariously bad at very different times, and I feel like if they had just stuck the landing, if they had just done, something, if they had just stuck with a plan for like the entirety of this generation, I think they'd be in a much, much, much better spot. And they'd be in a spot where, people could be, excited about Xbox. And I know some people are, and I think that's fine. I also think that it's fine if if you're completely fed up with Xbox, right? Like, I get that. I get both sides of that argument. The thing that I would say is, for me anyway, is that Microsoft really kind of screwed themselves a bit because they didn't put forth a full effort, I think. It's like they were quick to go, okay, well, they didn't think it out. Like, oh, well, we spent all this money on these developers. We should probably, are we going to be able to afford that? Or are we going to have to port our games to, PlayStation? Like, this is the thing, and I think that, the fact that happened really puts Microsoft in a spot that is just a bad spot if you're trying to sell hardware, and that's just the honest to God truth. With that being said, I want to get into this because I feel like it is a very interesting video and a very interesting topic, to say the least. But I'm curious to hear what you guys have to think about it, because I think that it's obviously something that is on a lot of people's minds. So, what's up, everybody? I'm Crap Gamer. This is Crap Gamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. I'm looking for at least a like. I do daily gaming videos. I try to be fun yet informative. So if you guys are into that kind of stuff, please like the video, share it out, all that kind of good stuff. This is the thing. So Sony canceled more live service games, right? Like, Sony has been a complete dud this generation. But I know, like, if you're a PlayStation fan, you're probably hating that I'm saying that. Or maybe you're agreeing it to some extent, right? Like, let's just be real. PlayStation fans, like, I like PlayStation, but I like PlayStation, the single-player bangers, the Uncharted's and God of War and Ghost of Tsushima, and, I like those games. I couldn't care less about, Sony's take on Hero Shooter or whatever the case may be. And, I think Jim Ryan really, really went all out for, these types of games, unfortunately. And it's led to pretty much nothing from Sony. And apparently we're getting a lot more information now where this is concerned, where it turns out that Sony really bet big on these types of games. They really thought that, games as a service was going to be the thing. And I don't understand that. You built up your platform on these big single player games, and why would you be trying to do games as a service, right? So Microsoft has the chance to really kind of do something if they could get their act together a little bit. I think they have to announce some really big things. You could see some discourse there, some people not happy with PlayStation. They canceled a God of War title, apparently. According to this, Sony canceled live service games in development at Bend Studios and Bluepoint. Jason Schreier's article doesn't describe the games in details, but he was confirming that the game Bluepoint was working on was a live service God of War title. Sony spokesperson confirmed that both games had been canceled following a recent review, but stressed that neither studio would be closed down as a result of the cancellations. Bend and Bluepoint are highly accomplished teams who are valued members of the PlayStation Studios family, and we are working closely with each studio to determine what the next projects are, according to this anyway. Bend Studios' last game was 2019's Days Gone, which had released to a mixed critical reception. The studio posted a job listing in March of 2024, looking for a lead project manager with hands-on development experience and leadership roles shipping AAA live service games. PlayStation acquired Bluepoint in September of 21, almost a year after the release of its last games. A PS5 launch day remake of Demon's Souls. The studio hasn't released anything since then, though it did provide support work for the development of God of War Ragnarok. Last June, Bluepoint president Marco Thrush said the studio, which is best known for its work on remakes and remasters, was aiming to work on original content going forward. Sony's success with live service games saw extreme highs and lows. Helldivers 2 was undoubtedly one of the surprise successes, selling 12 million copies in its first 12 weeks. On the other hand, Concord has to go down as one of the biggest failures ever, with Sony pulling the game from sale and taking it offline with just 2 weeks of its release. So apparently, according to a lot of rumors and things like that, you have to kind of look at this and go, they're pulling all these games. So originally they had 12. It just, to me, I'm just kind of looking at this and I'm going, realistically, you had 12 games, right? Or for games as a service games that were going, and you've canceled, I think, 8 or 9 of them now, right? Like, it really doesn't make sense to continue going with, those types of games. To me anyway, I feel like what's happening is, and to PlayStation fans' credit, let me say this, it really does, a lot of the PlayStation fans are saying, hey, we didn't want games as a service games in the first place, which, I feel like that's a smart thing, to say. Like, who wants PlayStation games as a service games, right? Like, I don't know. Like, here's the thing. PlayStation has games that would be good in that, like they own IP, stuff like SOCOM, right, would probably be good. So why on earth would you want to turn Twisted Metal into a games as a service, or God of War? That doesn't really make sense, whatever the case may be, to do that, and it just feels like they're kind of chasing trends or whatever that are never really going to kind of work out well for anybody. There's only so much time and so many gamers, and a lot of these gamers are realistically in a situation where we have so much already going in that kind of idea. There's Fortnite, there's Warzone, there's the regular Call of Duty. Battlefield is supposedly going to be making a comeback, but there's, Roblox, Minecraft. There's like all these games that just suck people's lives, and realistically, you're kind of looking at this and going, well, where was this stuff ever going to fit in? You might be able to fit stuff in, like, and it is true that Helldivers 2 was a success, but the average for that is down. I guess nowadays they consider having a certain amount of players a success or whatever, and I don't really know exactly what the case is, but you get 50, 60,000 people in a game now, and I guess they consider that a big success. If you're looking at, I don't know what it is on PlayStation, but on the Steam charts, Helldivers 2 as of this has 53,000 players on it. Now it did hit a peak of 450,000, which is good, but again, when a couple months later, and it drops significantly. So this stuff happens all the time. It's very hard to keep games as a service going unless you're already like one of these big established things. Like GTA Online is huge, and that's something that I think people obviously, but Grand Theft Auto is like the biggest name in gaming, so like no doy, right? GTA Online is going to be huge, and so it's just one of those things when you just kind of look at it and you go, Microsoft really could do something fantastic. They could get something special out of this, and they could get people buying Xboxes if they just kind of got their heads out of their asses a little bit. So again, we'll see what happens, but I think Microsoft could have something that could draw people to Xbox. Like, all the stuff is coming back to bite them in the ass. If they just would have played it cool for a little bit longer, They could have like destroyed PlayStation. I don't understand the thought process. Like, hey, Gamescom, the one more thing announcement is Indiana Jones going to PlayStation before the game even launched on Xbox. Like, come on, people. Like, get your head out of your asses, Microsoft. You guys could be doing so much better. It's crazy. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about all this canceled games and, Xbox kind of dropping the ball here, but they could turn things around. I don't know. Let me know. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.